Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Philippines with I is here and back again with Q. So, so for today's video, guys, our topic for today is about
It's okay. It's just dating in the Philippines
dating
in general. Yeah, like lately I have gotten a lot of comments as from Ken's video. We get we've been getting a lot of the female demographics and the younger demographic as well as subscribers and viewers, and there has been a lot of comments about Southeast Asia in general, and they it was said that Philippines is part of the Southeast Asian countries, that a lot of old men come to the Philippines to almost like a pedophilia movement or something like that. And with all due respect, I think this is a very difficult topic to talk about. And although it is, I agree to an extent, it's just, I think stuff like that happens everywhere. I've been traveling, not to too many countries, but most of the countries that I travel to are, considered, third world countries. And I don't know what really that means. I only live about 1 hour west of Inland Empire, so you can't get more third world than that. But anyway, it's just like I've made some observations, and even within the United States, stuff like that happens a lot, very rampant. So I just think that the Philippines has gotten a very bad reputation for that, and I just want to make, we just want to talk about this topic.
Yes.
Yeah, and see, if we can bring up some points, Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's just the Philippines, please don't label the Philippines as, the sex capital of the world, because it's not. There's so much more to the Philippines than just dating a younger woman. It's just living in Maribago right here. Just about 2 miles from south of Mactan, Newtown, we do come, this is a tourist area. We do come across a lot of, younger generations, people who come here for the adventure aspect of the Philippines. And it's not, just dating. So whatever you guys are watching on YouTube, and whatever algorithm that you guys are hitting, that you guys are only getting recommendations on, the older generation dating the younger generation, the younger locals here, that I don't know how to explain that. Even before I came to the Philippines, when I was looking at the content on the Philippines, I come across a lot of, adventure aspect of the Philippines, which drew me to the Philippines, other than having the refugee camp experience as a 7-8-year-old back in 1987, 86, 87. It's just folks like Finn Snow, who are adventurers. He comes into my algorithm along with his fighter boys, friends and partners, I guess colleagues, if you can call them. I don't come across, dating or anything like that in the Philippines too often. So I guess our algorithm is different from YouTube, depending on the content that we watch. But, it's just as far as Southeast Asia is concerned, a lot of these, I guess, bad omen does, hold true to an extent. But, it's just I feel like when I travel to different countries, it's just I don't travel for, a dating purpose, but I always end up dating someone local, just because I'm, the way I travel, I don't do 2-week travels. I usually do a minimum of 1 month up to 3 months. So during that time, it's just a man being a man, it's just chemically, we got our needs. And, when you strike up a good conversation with a counterpart, sparks, tend to fly and chemistry happens. And I'm not going to resist just because, I'm, a visitor to this country. It's just nature, taking its place. And through my travel and experience, I feel like many cultures besides the Western culture, like the United States and like other Western cultures that I haven't personally visited, so I'm not going to speak specifically. But in the United States, oh yeah, it's a what you gonna call it? It looks bad on the man, for dating someone who has like a female who has like a big age gap. But like,
How is that?
what's that?
How is that? It's
Well, it's just I don't know. I'm not a literature person. Like I've read some researches and nothing that I can remember and reference. But the way I analyze, what I have read in the past, it's just that culturally from the United States, like people usually be, like throughout high school, they have like high school sweethearts, and like they grow up and then they, like usually in the it's hard for me to explain because this is not my area of expertise or anything like that. But it's just usually, it's just like you date your own age, like because you're at the same lifespan, or similar lifespan, and like similar career path, and like all things equal, if I am saying that correctly. But however, with the divorce rate in the United States, that proved to be not functional. Like scientifically or biologically speaking, we all know that women mature at a much younger age than a man. Speaking for myself, it's just I don't think I've ever reached maturity. Even at 45 years old now, I still behave like a little kid. That's why the neighbor kids they love me so much, because I'm the one who buys all the toys. At 45 years old, I bought a skateboard. It's just like the maturity level is very different between men and women.
it's true.
Like let me ask you, like you obviously have dated, like within your age, right? How was your experience like dating somebody your age? Did you feel like you have a hard time communicating with your partner, or
Yes, because it's very hard. They just always hang out with friends and what's more.
like while your boyfriend, like your ex-boyfriend was hanging out with friends, what were you doing? Were you working?
I'm working.
You're working, and
Yeah.
why were you working and not like hanging out with your friends?
Because I don't do like hang out with friends even if they invite me, but I just prefer.
Why?
Because I prefer myself to rest, especially my work is very hard. Then, my ex just only have 4 hours to work. So,
Why did you choose to work long hours instead of hanging out with friends? Why not quit your job and go hang out with
I
friends?
know, because I need money. I have to earn, especially my needs.
Yeah, and I think that's the point that I'm trying to get at. It's just like with a female, it's just like your level of maturity is a little bit more advanced, whereas you're thinking about your future savings and financial security. Whereas a man like me, speaking from personal experience, and I don't represent, I'm not speaking on behalf of my gender, but like even before my son was born, 17 years ago, I was just living paycheck to paycheck, even though I had the ability to, supersede or, exceed my own expectations, but it's just the immaturity. I rather go, like you say, hang out with friends, drink, party,
Yeah.
and even while I was hanging out in Mexico a lot, and I feel that it's a very common thing, that the age gap is usually about 10 years or so, and I think that's pretty normal. And in those societies, like I don't think divorce rate is as high. Again, like I don't have any reports or anything like that to cite, but just from my own personal observation. And I think like just from us living here, the way that we observe things, we've seen a few like foreign females walking with Filipino males. I'm not sure if they were foreign born Filipinos or they're local Filipinos. We never had a conversation with them, but just within the group of people that I know, there are a lot of men who are like a lot more mature, and I think you know at the same age that they're at, back home in the United States, like I was a lot more, I guess inferior as far as maturity is concerned, to these, friends that I have over here. Maybe it's environment, maybe it's nurture, maybe it's culture, maybe that's just the way that they're raised. But I feel like the Filipino men here are, like, once they reach a certain age, of course, like, are very mature. They have a good head on their on their shoulder. And in the past, I've had some comments that how come most of my, well, the word is not most, the word is all of my guests on Q Adventure are females. It's not true. Of course, I have male on my channel as well, but even at most, we've talked to men before the camera turns on, but none of them, like most of them don't agree to be on the channel because they're always busy. They're always working and, supporting their family. If they don't have kids themselves, they're supporting their mother, their father.
Sisters.
Yeah, and their
siblings.
elder, like Lolas and Lolos. There's, like a lack of nursing homes here, or, like, convalescent homes and stuff like that, because, stuff like that don't, I'm sure it exists, but it's a big no-no for you to send your elderlies to like these kind of environments. And that's why we're having so much of a hard time with Ken, because there aren't any institutions that would accommodate his situation. Like it's they are raised, they're born and raised here, to take care of your elders. And it's very common for the elder, like 30-40-year-olds to still live with their parents.
Yes.
Because it's very family oriented. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, and it's just like family help each other out, and then it's just which fascinates me. That's I was born in Vietnam. That's pretty much the same way it is in Vietnam, or similar enough. It's just we don't abandon our kids. Neither do we abandon our elder parents or earlier generation. So as far as what people come to the Philippines, there are people, we see it, the much older gentleman, dating the younger Filipinas, but I think there's, like, from my observation, again, I don't have any statistics or anything like that, or any studies to back me up to make this statement, but I think from what we observe, it's just there are a lot of just younger couples as well, just as much. It just depends on where you go. If you go to the expat concentrated area, then you will see the big age gap, or what you call child brides, but that's I think that's a very negative viewpoint of the Philippines that I don't necessarily agree with, and I don't think the Philippines deserve that. It is a island nation. If you're like a eco tourist, it's just like we have plenty of videos on our on our Q Adventures videos. It's just like we're just in the middle of a waterfall, in the middle of a jungle. There's like 0 people around, and it's just you, that waterfall, nature, and heaven. A lot of people travel here for that. As I came here also for business. I wanted to dabble in business and see how I would fare up in a foreign land that I have 0 knowledge of. And you can do that. There's a lot of investors that come here, mostly Koreans, Chinese, and Japanese. Yeah, I don't see too many, I guess, Americans or Australians. They do exist. They own quite a few bars here, like Honeypot, I think, is owned by a mixture of Australian, American, and Korean. Yeah, I think there's like a partnership there somewhere, but it's just like if you're like business minded and you want to do business somewhere, there's a huge opportunity here in the Philippines.
Yes.
Yeah, like you're not back home, I don't open any brick and mortar companies. I don't, I do almost, exclusively service based because of the requirement of liability insurance that we don't have here in the Philippines. So that's a lot of savings right here. And the regulations here, it's like you can open up a business right outside your house or within the confines of your home. So you don't have to pay rent for, like
For your
a
business.
storefront. Yeah, like a storefront,
Uh-uh.
And even if you hire or rent a storefront, you don't have these absurdly long commercial contracts that you're obligated to because, as we all know, especially for a small business, it's just like you got to do it for 2 years or so to kind of gather enough data to know, like whether it's going to be successful or not.
Or not.
Yeah. And if you want to just, like hang out with nature, it's just like there's so much more to the Philippines that we haven't even explored. Aurora,
Aurora, yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Like Batangas and Baguio. we've never
Yeah.
been there.
yeah, we meant to go there, but we
Yeah.
didn't get around to
Yeah.
going there. But like there are even like bats, what is it? The fruit bats
Yes.
or fox bats that is the size of a human.
Human.
We haven't even tackled that. So, there are like limitless, things to do in the
Yeah.
Philippines than just the, stereotype of people coming here to look for a young bride. I think that's very unfair, and I think for someone to have as much love for the Philippines as I do, it's a little bit hurtful. It's just like if you've never, if the Philippines has never crossed your mind to visit, it's just like whatever your purpose is, make a comment over here. It's just
Yeah.
like if you're an adventurer or whatever you're chasing, leave a comment over here. Pick our brain. We'll share some ideas with you. You don't have to go to the expat exclusive, communities. You don't have to do that. If you want to stay away from that,
Yes.
and if stuff like that bothers you, you don't have to. But don't think of that for the Philippines, guys. I live here. I love it here, and obviously I'm not here for that reason. But I'm here for every, so many other reasons, for the adventure, for the philanthropy, for the business, and just for peace. Even back home, I don't date within my race, but coming to the Philippines, the young ladies, they're so traditional, they're so attentive, and it's just traditional feminism. It's just like I love it. It's everything is just a fit for me. And for you ladies watching, there are again plenty of guys. If you're looking to date somebody, I think the Filipinos and the Filipinas, are a great choice. It's just probably ranked pretty high up there. It's just like if you want to date your own age, there's plenty over here. If you want to date outside your age and based on whatever studies that you have or whatever your personal beliefs are, it's just plenty over here. So I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of edits here because
Yeah.
I'm getting a little emotional and I lose my train of thoughts, because I just think it's very unfair, especially for someone like me who loves the country so much and the culture so much. It's just like so much so that I've decided to live here permanently. And the comments, are half true, but the same exact comments, is applicable to any other countries out there, whether it's Mexico, Peru, Colombia, including the United States. It's just I've seen it, I believe it, and it's just like if that's all you're focused on, then it's true in your mind, not true in my mind. So that's a perspective that I have. What do you think? Do you think that Filipinas, like target older, like the whole 4M stuff?
No.
No, right?
No.
I can't imagine so.
I
I mean,
disagree with that.
like to sell your soul to be with somebody who you don't necessarily agree or attracted to.
Yeah. This is very hard to be in a relationship that you don't have love. It's very hard.
Yeah, I'm sure it exists. You know, that's why they came up with the whole 4M thing. But you know, it's just like I'm sure it exists. You know, just like any other country. But to say that exclusively the Philippines
It's
is,
no.
yeah,
It's
um, yeah. You know, I just human psychology. I mean, you know, if I put myself in that position as, you know, if I was a young lady, you know, for me to date a senior citizen and have my fingers crossed that he might live another year or another 10 years, not knowing if he's going to will his assets to me or somebody that, you know, back home or whatever. It's just like, I'm not going to make that gamble. It's just logical. And I don't know, it's just hard for me to believe, you know, whatever it is that, you know, like y'all seen on YouTube and whatever connection that, you know, the couples that you see have made, I'm sure there are some kind of emotional and, you know, like other things beyond our, you know, like what we can understand just by watching, you know. So what else you got?
Can we give some example?
Go give some example.
No.
Oh yeah,
Our we have a guest before leave almost 3 months, I think.
yeah, as long, yeah, as far as, you know, as far as why men, you know, Western men have come here to look for, you know, a female. One explanation that I have is, you know, from a before the two girls came and lived with us, we were renting out our room, and we have a gentleman that stayed with us. I'm not gonna name names or anything like that for privacy reasons,
Yes.
but I think he is a perfect example, and this, you know, the story that he conveyed to me. You know, this gentleman over here, he came from Indiana. He lives in Indiana in a very small town. I forgot what the town is, but he you know, he conveyed to me that, you know, like he is a hard worker, heavy equipment engineer, I believe, you know, and he worked all his life, you know. It's a good career, and you know, like dating was not really in his priority during, you know, the span of his career. And then, you know, as he approached retirement, you know, I think he took an early retirement, you know, like he was curious. I mean, of course he wanted to dive into the dating scene, join a few dating websites back in the United States. And you know, him being a single man all his life, you know, it's just like now that he's in the dating scene at his age, he say that the pool of women for him to choose from is extremely small. And he, you know, like goes on these dates, but he tells me that the norm for his age is just like he ends up going on a date with, you know, a woman who has, you know, like 4 or 5 grandkids that he inherits, you know, like the responsibility of being a grandpa, even though he has, you know, like he's done nothing in his life to kind of create that environment. And when, you know, like Christmas time comes, you know, he has to empty his pocket buying the kids presents and the multiple grandkids and stuff like that, all over, you know, dating one person. And, you know, like especially, you know, like if it's, you know, like a very recent, you know, like dating relationship, you know, I can't call it, you know, like some kind of committed relationship. And then, you know, like she start to invite him over for, you know, like holidays and stuff like that, and he just feels that obligation, you know, to contribute and stuff like that, or perhaps even buy the family members, you know, I guess approval. And he felt that it's very not a good position to be in, and he also wants to start his own family. And the dating pool, if he was to date his own age, most of these females, his counterparts, but you know, in his dating pool, you know, when he's thinking about having his own children, you know, like his counterpart is mostly, you know, like already went through menopause, and, you know, like there's like zero prospect of him having his own kids. Yeah. So, you know, like and he did sought out the Philippines, you know, and from his research, I don't know where he got his research from, you know, like as far as culture, He did mention that he had a few co-workers were of the Philippines culture, and you know, he had, you know, a big talk from them. I guess that's his form of research. He came and he dibble dabbled on a little stuff. He met a nice young lady. I don't know what the age gap is, but they look, you know, like they're a very happy couple and they get along well. And best to him, you know. And I think that is the very common story in the United States, you know, or Western countries. And of course, you know, with the modern culture and everything else, it's just dating is almost impossible, you know. So men are seeking out, you know, like countries like the Philippines for the traditional, you know, feminism. How is the Philippine, like culturally, how is the Filipino women raised? Are they raised to like be equal to men, or do they accept, you know, like certain responsibilities are for men and certain responsibilities are for women?
You mean talking about the men or the woman?
Like,
How the woman raised?
no, in general, you
In
know,
general.
yeah, of how the women are raised, you know, like are the, you know, like let's take you for example, you know, like when you were born, did your father and mother teach you how to be a good mother in the future and a good wife in the future, or did they teach you to be independent and, you know, like go and look for a career and take care of, you know, like the household financials and stuff like that?
They teach us both how to, especially in the house, how to manage the kids, or how to manage also your husband or your wife. Yeah, both. Then they also teach us that about the, you need to be like, for us to be much my parents also teach us to study so that in the future we have a good job and we can also provide for the families, not just only we will not be dependent with our partners.
So let's just say, for example, you and I never met, okay? And then let's just say, for example, you meet a husband that is, you know, like has a good job, you know, like in your personality, in the way that you're raised, do you prefer to go get a second job on top of what your husband is already making, or do you prefer to stay home and raise the children and, you know, like basically be a housewife?
For me is, I still want to work, but it was just between with the two couple talking, if, because for us we need also to cooperate with the partners in our culture, talk about the situation, if, and we need also, not totally we need to follow, but we need to talk about that if we agree both or not. Because some most of the Filipina, they don't work because of the partner. The partner did not want the Filipina to work. The man wants the Filipina to be in the house to handle the kids, especially household rules, like to cook for the men, especially when they go home, prepare.
So a majority, you don't fall into the majority, but you're saying that the majority of women are a lot more traditional.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're not as traditional because you prefer to work. Yeah. Yeah, so there you have it, guys. You know, it's just whatever you're looking for. You know, the Philippines has a lot of it. We don't have snowboarding here, but we don't have any Alps here with deep snow. But other than that, you know, we're surrounded by ocean. You know, we've done quite a few island hopping videos, you know, and we're in the middle of, you know, the Pacific Ocean, and it's just spontaneously, it's like 3 feet deep, filled with sea life, and the water is calm and crystal clear. It's just like, how can you not visit the Philippines?
Philippines have 7,100 islands, so it's very,
Depending on the time of day.
yeah.
When high tide comes, a few of those islands disappeared.
No, it's just only one island. It has never been recovered anymore.
No, I'm just saying when high tide comes, a few islands will disappear. And you can't count those islands, so it depends on the time of day is how many islands the Philippines have.
Do you still need? Okay. So, that's it for our video today, guys, and hopefully you get some ideas about dating here in the Philippines. And if you're not yet my subscribers, please subscribe and leave the thumbs. And if you have anything to suggest, you can leave a comment and we're gonna read about that.
Yeah, thank you for staying till the end, guys. Make sure you click on the thumbs up, subscribe to her channel, and ring the bell for the reminder every time she uploads a new video. You get a reminder.
And that's it. Thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube channel, and thank you for keep watching my videos. And that's it. God bless you all, and see you in our next video. Bye.